US shifting focus. Now, Pakistan will reportedly auction Pakistan International Airlines on December 23 in a live broadcast bidding process. The sale is part of a key IMF condition for a $7 billion bailout package for companies, including Fauji Fertiliser Company, linked to the military-controlled Fauji Foundation, have pre-qualified for the bidding. This would be Pakistan's first major privatization in 2 decades. The involvement of Fauji Fertiliser has drawn attention due to its ties to the Pakistan Army. Army Chief General Asim Munir, often referred to as Munir in media, exerts indirect influence over the Fauji Foundation through military appointments on its board, such as the Quartermaster General. Critics view this as emblematic of the military's deep entrenchment in Pakistan's economy, potentially sidelining civilian-led bids. Under the IMF program, Pakistan must sell 51 to 100% of PIA shares and transfer full management control. Pakistan is targeting rupees 86 billion in revenues from privatization this year, with 15% of the PIA sale proceeds going to the government and 85% to the airline. While Asim Munir is not on the Fauji Foundation board, he indirectly influences operations through institutional military control. Foreign entities cannot hold controlling stakes, and majority ownership must remain with Pakistani citizens. Pakistan, on the brink of default in 2023, secured $7 billion IMF bailout in September 2024. PIA divestment is vital as the country continues borrowing to repay earlier loans. PIA has long symbolized chronic mismanagement, suffering billions in dollars. I have Major General Shashi Asthana. He's a senior defense expert joining me on the broadcast. Major General Asthana, welcome. And I'd like to begin with your opening comments.
See, PIA has been a sick industry. It's a sick airline. And one of the conditions of IMF has always been when they probe and when they approve loan, as you mentioned rightly, 7 billion loan is in question. They want all those sick industries not to be on the load of the government. And therefore, there is a compulsion to auction PIA. They tried it out. Earlier, they were expecting about $85 billion. But I think the highest bid was up to $60 billion. So it was not sold out. And it was not privatized at that point of time. Now I think they are trying it again. And as you rightly mentioned, the Fauji Foundation and their establishments are in the fray to buy it. Now this is the biggest corruption scandal which is happening in Pakistan. Their army controls this Fauji Foundation and many other institutions like this. In fact, other than the government, Pakistan government, the second highest landholder as well as the asset holder is the Pakistan military. And military, directly or indirectly, obviously it will be under Asif Munir in some manner, although the board may have the QMG or other important post holders and maybe some retired generals. Now, the problem with Pakistan Airlines is why it is not being valuated and why it is not getting sold out is that the reputation has gone down tremendously. Pakistan Airlines was found their planes were being flown by the pilots with fake licenses. And very recently, the Europeans had banned it for 4 years. Now, of course, they have taken out the ban this year. But notwithstanding that, that was the kind of reputation. And obviously, there are not very many buyers because of that reason. The second issue is, you see the ranking of the Pakistani passport is also tremendously low. So there are not very many countries where the Pakistanis can fly. And therefore, the load or the, shall I say, the utility of that airline is also in question. So anybody who is going to buy from outside is going to view all these cost-benefit analysis, and with that, it has very less chance to get a reasonable price. So that is why maybe that could be one of the reasons as to they have thought that the military can buy it or military institutions can buy it, but then it will be something like the military buying the government assets and PIA becoming again a property of the military. if it so happens. So we will have to wait and see whether they qualify or they don't. But certainly they have put in a bid. Back to you.
All right, of course. Now, I also have one more question for you, which is that, we're also learning that Asif Munir is putting a lot of pressure on the Fauji Foundation in Pakistan. Why do you see that happening?
See, Asif Munir, when he's taken over all the assignments as and has got lifetime immunity, he will certainly like to grab the entire power, and power flows from money, and money is with Fauji Foundation. So military money is basically with some of these institutions. It's not only Fauji Foundation. There are some more institutes in addition to Fauji Foundation, and that money certainly is gives fair amount of power to the person who is handling it. So Asif Munir was certainly looking at a situation, and he will certainly try to put his people on board so that his hold on that lever of power remains. So this is in fact almost like a scam, but notwithstanding that, Asif Munir has got the whether he has got that kind of approval from the assembly, or assembly has been forced to give an approval of that kind. That is anybody's guess. But then the fact is that he is the now Chief of Defence Forces, and with that, with the immunity and also controlling the court, he has over centralized the power and become more powerful than the courts, the president, as well as the prime minister. So obviously he is going to gain more levers of power as time goes by.
And Major General Asana, of course, there's no surprise there when it comes to Pakistan. But this PIA has also long symbolized chronic mismanagement and suffering. They've been suffering billions in losses for a very, very long time. What do you have to say for that?
See, in fact, it was becoming very tough for them to keep this airline afloat. It has been suffering losses, and then they palmed off all the losses to the government. And that is exactly what the IMF doesn't want. So the loaning agencies are now questioning that issue. Otherwise, they had put it under the carpet. And not like that. In fact, I would put it this way, that even at some point of time, the Indian Airlines was also buying a lot of losses, and India rightfully took a right decision, and it was privatized, and perhaps it worked well. But in India, there are a whole lot of checks and balances. With the kind of governance which is there in Pakistan under Asif Munir, and the kind of sham democracy which they have, the checks and balances are not there. So there is no doubt that PIA has been incurring losses, and the losses are also being whitewashed in some manner or the other. But to keep it afloat, they will have to perhaps bear the losses and make it profitable, which I don't think they have a reasonable plan to do so.
All right. Now, of course, we also see that, the IMF previously, the IMF program had approved in September 2024, and they of course, had aimed to stabilize Pakistan's economy, then valued at USD 370 billion during a period of severe financial turmoil due to a lot of inflation that is happening there. But there was nothing improved after that. What would you like to say on that one?
See, the problem with Pakistan is that Pakistan knows that they will not be allowed to sink. They will not prosper, certainly, but they will be kept afloat either by China or by USA, just above the sinking level. Now that is where this confidence comes, because Pakistan, if you recall, has got the highest bailouts in the world. Maybe there is only one more country which has got more bailouts than them, but they are the favorites as far as IMF is concerned, with no real accountability and responsibility of using those funds. But the fact is that because of their strategic location is such that neither America wants them to collapse, nor China wants them to collapse, because China needs them for their geographical piece of land to reach out to Gulf, and America needs them to handle Afghanistan and Iran and Afghanistan, in that order. So therefore, this piece of land has become important, and they realize, and this realization also became very evident, which you would have seen in the recent past, because Israel attacked Iran, and Iran became hostile. So in under those circumstances, the Americans felt that if there is a requirement of a land route, it has to go through Pakistan only. So therefore, it is better that we keep Pakistan on our side, and therefore you would have seen that the Trump administration softened up to Pakistan, and a whole lot of goodies were given, invitation to White House and things like that. So the point is that there are external players who do not want them to sink, and this has gone into the head of the governing bodies of Pakistan, that even if we are, whenever we are close to default, we will go and somebody will help out, whether Saudi
Major
Arabia
General
will help
Asana,
or China will
apologies
help.
to interrupt you, but we're really running short of time. But thank you so much,
Okay.
sir, for joining me on the broadcast.